Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do full-length car reviews each and every week. If you subscribed, you'd know that halfway through we stop for a segment called Questions, Coffee, and Cars. We spun it off. We're at number 130. If you want to get a question in, Andrea, how would you do that?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather all of our questions, the post is deleted and we start the show. Up to his old tricks already.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Hello, Hope. All is well for you both. I would love to get your opinion on Kia as a brand. I've always loved Honda, but I've been sold 3 lemons. A 2019 Civic, a 2020 Accord, and a 2023 CR-V. And I think I want to move on to another car brand. Also, do you think the K5 would be a great choice?
That's surprising. Now you hear that, to have 3 in a row. And usually people are like, oh, I only buy Toyotas and Hondas because they're reliable. But not everything's perfect. We have a neighbor who had a Honda Odyssey van and she dumped it and went to a Volvo. Yeah. So what do we think of the K5 and what do we think of Kia?
Yeah.
I think that Kia is a brand that's doing that.
Absolutely. The K5 is no longer available in Canada. I don't know if you're in Canada or the U.S. It's been eliminated. It didn't really sell, but the U.S. is carrying forward with the K5, and we really liked it. I think that it's a good handling sedan, and it offers a lot of space. We just drove the K4, the compact one. And we think that that one is very good as well.
If you just have to look at the numbers that we get, which is usually J.D. Power's 3-year dependability study. So those are vehicles in 2024 that would have been sold in 2021. And Kia ranks near the very top after 3 years of dependability, I should say. And anecdotally, we're not hearing terrible things about Kia cars. They do have occasionally recalls that affect a lot of vehicles, but they're typically the older cars that were sold several years ago. So that's really all we can tell you.
And we spoke to Kia Canada about this when we were on the K4 trip, just about reliability and dependability in the brand. And it does come back to haunt them with their engine problems in the past. So some are just not willing to try it. You're somebody who has been a loyal Honda fan and has had problems with the last 3 vehicles that you've owned. So I can understand why you would want to try another brand. But we like the K5 and we like Kia. Just an update, in episode 108,
That's a while ago,
yeah, you responded to my Calgary Lexus question about allocation and other timelines. I had ordered a 350h Ultra Luxury and my dealer told me 3 to 6 months. The other dealer here told me 12 to 18 months. You were a little skeptical that my dealer wasn't being totally forthcoming about the real weight. I wanted to let you know that I got the call on Friday that my vehicle will be here in mid-December. So just under 5 months. Super excited and thankful they weren't just telling me what I wanted to hear in order to get the sale.
I think that maybe this is a high volume dealer and they get more cars. So it comes down to, if you get on a wait list at a very big dealer that does a lot of volume, because they do a lot of volume, they're just, because it's basically, they base the inventory you're going to get on what you sold the previous year.
That's right.
And so that's good. That's good that you got it.
And we hear that.
It was, did he say 3 to 6 months initially?
Yeah, and then the other dealer said 12 to 18.
Yeah, well, that might be a smaller dealer. So the 3 to 6 months, they just pipped it under the line there.
So congratulations and enjoy your new vehicle.
You're going to like it.
I'm in the process of upgrading my 2013 Hyundai Elantra and I'm wanting a larger 3-row hybrid SUV. And I'm really liking the look of the new Santa Fe, but I'm hoping for a plug-in hybrid option. Wondering if you have any insight if the 2026 Santa Fe will come in a PHEV version.
Eventually it will. Because they did sell it before.
They did. And I did ask Hyundai Canada about this when we reviewed the Santa Fe hybrid. And they wouldn't give a timeline, but they're certainly, let's say, working on something. I can't see why they wouldn't.
Well, if you're in a rush, is the Sorento available as a plug-in yet?
It is.
Yeah. So if you don't need to have 7 seats, you could get the 6-seater Sorento, which is available as a plug-in. now.
Yeah.
And that's based on really the same platform. So if it's over at Kia, they will get it at Hyundai. It's just a matter of when. And you best to go and ask the dealer. They'll
Yeah.
probably have a better idea what the timeline is on that.
Love your channel and love the content you guys put out. Thank you. Have you guys received any information regarding Jeep's 4xe recall? At this point, my mom cannot charge her Wrangler because of the fire hazard, and Jeep has no solution. Are you guys able to comment on this? Pretty annoying, as my mother was previously able to do most of her drives on electric.
Yeah, so they did a do not park inside kind of order, and they're doing some recall on it. You know, you could take the chance and charge it and, you know, roll the dice. But I would take the advice of the manufacturer and speak to your dealer and hopefully get it in sooner than later. Yeah, this is one of the problems with new technology products is you can have these things happen.
So a recall notice went out on October 17th. I don't know if your mom got that or not, but there were reports of 8 vehicles that caught fire. 6 were parked, shut off, and plugged in. So that's the problem. That's why they're saying to you, do not charge it. This may not affect all vehicles, of course. They're just going to check it. What they're saying is that there needs to be either a software update or that battery needs to be replaced.
Well, hundreds of thousands of these have been sold.
Yeah.
And so that is a massive recall. They don't want to get into the situation they had, Chevrolet had with the Bolt. I think it was 12 cars that caught fire, and they replaced the batteries on all of them, and it cost billions and billions and billions of dollars. Billions of dollars Stellantis doesn't have right now. So, yeah, work with the dealer, get it fixed, and then start enjoying your Jeep again, because it's unique. And the reason why they have sold hundreds of thousands of them is because that is one bright spot, is the plug-in has sold really well.
And I think in this question you said that you were speaking to the dealership and they didn't have any information. So just keep pushing them. Doesn't hurt to call once a week and find out what's going on. Your mom should be able to charge her plug-in hybrid.
Well,
so hopefully they'll get on top of this for
So
you.
if they have issued the recall, you'll start to get recall letters in the mail soon.
Hello, Zach and Andrea. Hello, new viewer here, and love that you are from Vancouver, where I'm from. And it makes it easier to relate to content. I ordered getting the new Civic hybrid hatchback, arriving in November, hopefully, and was wondering if I should be concerned about it being a first-year vehicle, same hybrid system as the Accord, but different configuration and the recent recalls. I think with any new vehicle, you need to be careful. You've got to go in eyes wide open. Honda has certainly not been perfect with their new vehicles. There are issues with sticky steering and other recalls as well. So,
Well, if you listen to the first question, we've had 3 Hondas and they're not going back anymore. Yeah, so finish your thought.
yeah, so I think eyes wide open. These recalls are a pain because you've got to go back into the dealership, and you are also dealing with these problems day to day. But there's no guarantee.
The thing is, the recalls will all have been done before it's sold to you. So if there's any recalls on an unsold car, they all have to be done. And you're right, because it's already been implemented in Accord for several years. That's the first year jitters. Hopefully are done.
Love the channel, guys. Thank you for the amazing content. Thank you. Looking to get a mid-sized 3-row SUV. Which would you choose, by the way, the new GMC Acadia or the Nissan Pathfinder? We haven't driven the Acadia, but it's based on the same platform as the Traverse, and we really like the Traverse a lot.
And we're getting the Enclave, the Buick version, next week. So we're looking forward to driving that.
And the Nissan Pathfinder, I mean, for now it still has the V6, but the rumors is that it's going to get a turbocharged 4-cylinder because Infiniti QX60 for
2025.
is getting that, which is kind of disappointing because I know a lot of you, when you're getting a 3-row SUV, you want a V6 powered.
I really like the new GM 3-row SUVs. I do like them. And you know what? Much more compliant suspension, much smoother, much more refined feeling on road. The Pathfinder is kind of trucky feeling, stiff suspension. So if you're wanting smooth and quiet, I would go with the GMC.
I also found that the Pathfinder transmission was laggy. I wasn't a huge fan of that. Could be better when they move to a Turbo 4 if Nissan does. That might be something to look at. But if you're looking at something right now, I personally would go with the Acadia as well. Looking for a used 3 to 4-year-old plug-in hybrid SUV. Live in Calgary and would be used for daily commute to work. 15 kilometers. Trying to capitalize on newly installed solar panels to our house. What are your thoughts on good options? So many options.
I would look for the twins from Korea. I would look for the Tucson or the Sportage plug-in hybrids. And they've been out for 2 years now, and that would be a good choice, I think. There you go. That's what I would pick.
Yeah, and if you want something a little bit bigger, there's the Sorento to go for, that plug-in hybrid. If you want something that has a 3-row option, how about the Outlander plug-in hybrid? And of course, there's the RAV4 plug-in hybrid, which is next to impossible to get.
I'm going to throw one at you that
Yes.
Andrea missed because you like this one so much. The last gen Santa Fe was really big. It didn't come with 3 rows. It did come with a hybrid and a plug-in, but that was the more sort of opulent looking one with the chrome grille, and it didn't sell particularly well, but it was a really nice product on the inside. I think it was because it didn't have 3 rows, but that one would definitely be one you should keep an eye out for.
Huge fan of that one. Was kind of disappointed when they moved to the new one because the interior really has no, shiny black plastic in it. It had some beautiful fit and finish in the trim pieces, and it's so spacious. I couldn't believe, first off, how big the second row is, but also the cargo space. So yeah, that's a good one. I forgot about it.
Yeah, so those came out, I'm trying to remember now the year. I think it was 2022 or 2021. So those are the ones you're going to look at. And they're only going to be 2 to 3 years old, depending on when the car was sold.
And we've got a review on our channel, so check that
For
out.
all of them.
Go back, yeah, and take a look at it. Love your investigative work on our behalf. Thank you. Considering a late model Crosstrek or a Trailblazer, in terms of reliability, features, value, which would you choose? 3, 2, 1, Sue from East Hampton, New York.
Okay, so the Trailblazer is the small Chevrolet, and it has the turbo 3-cylinder engine, and then the Crosstrek is the Crosstrek. And we're going to do a 3, 2, 1. So this is a used product?
This is, didn't say, just one
Okay,
of
the last question
two.
was used. Okay,
Yeah.
so Trailblazer or Crosstrek in 3, 2, 1.
Crosstrek.
There you
There
go.
you go. Really enjoy all your content. Thank you. If you were purchasing 2 vehicles for long term and wanted one vehicle to be fun, sporty car and one vehicle to be a hybrid, excellent on miles per gallon with a budget of $80,000
For both?
US.
For both, yeah.
Yeah. What would you recommend? Anything from new to 3 years old. Keep up the great work. So hybrid.
So a
And then
practical
something
family
fun.
SUV that's going to be a hybrid to do the family work, and then a fun car. Well, I know what Andrea's going to say. I'll do the fun car for you, Andrea. She's going to say, just go get yourself a Miata.
Course. When is Miata wrong? Never.
And I'm going to say, go get a GTI. They're more expensive in the States, though. The thing is that the GTI, here's something interesting. The GTI is the same price in US dollars
I know.
as it is in Canadian dollars. So that's about a 30% lift that you're paying. So we'll pick a round number like 40,000 for the top spec GTI. It's $40,000 Canadian. It's also $40,000 US. So you're not getting a deal on that one. Okay, so take that one off the table. Just park the Miata in the garage. Or what else are we going to pick
Well, like,
beside
what
it?
about a BRZ, a GR Corolla? I just feel like if you're going to go with something super fun, because you've already got that practical vehicle, a hybrid, maybe you would go for an SUV. You're looking for reliability, so maybe an RX or an NX or a Honda CR-V. There's lots of options in the hybrid category. But why wouldn't you go for something super fun, like a 2-seater?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're agreed on that.
MX-5.
I think you get an MX-5. That's a fun car. And then for
At
your
that price point, at his budget,
Well,
he could get a used hybrid and then
okay.
a brand new MX-5.
Here's the other thing is, if you're going to go and you're thinking you're contemplating used, okay, look for a used Porsche Boxster, okay? and you find one, and don't really worry about the year, because there's a lot of people that buy these cars and they never drive them in the winter. They drive them very infrequently. So you could find like a 8-year-old Boxster and get it inspected, and you can maybe use the same amount of money you would get for a brand new Miata. You might be able to get a used Boxster, but make sure you buy it from a reputable place and get it inspected. That's just something you could throw out there.
Maintenance will be a little higher on the
Maintenance is a little bit higher.
Porsche versus
They've got the money.
Miata.
They're spending 80 large. They could afford it.
And as for hybrids, there's just so many. I mean, if you're looking for more premium luxury, you've got RX, NX, the Nautilus is new. You could get that and a Miata for your $80,000 US budget.
Or you could buy a 2-year-old X5 plug-in.
Plug-in hybrid, or even the Lincoln Corsair plug-in hybrid. People who own that vehicle rave about it. So lots of options there. For enjoyable and smooth, mostly city driving, do we go use GLC 43 AMG V6 or Porsche Macan base model? Thinking 2020, 2022 model years roughly.
Okay, well the GLC and the AMGs, that's where you get a bit of a slightly crashier suspension, and you've got the bigger wheel and tire, less sidewall. Those AMG models definitely can be a little choppier on road. So if you're wanting smooth, the interesting thing is Porsche does this really quite unique thing with the design of the suspension of the Macan. I know it seems sort of silly to think this, but they make a really wide envelope where it can be quite comfortable, especially if you get the base model with the smaller wheel and tire, and then they can be super aggressive if you get the high performance GTS. So I would say Porsche.
Yeah, if you were talking new, the new GLC, that thing is tuned for comfort and smoothness. We haven't driven the AMG model, so we don't know. But yes, usually the suspension is a little bit firmer.
We have to go back to Spain to drive the AMG model, Andrea.
Yeah, how about that, Mercedes-Benz? We really did enjoy our time in Spain. So for me, I really like the Macan. I'm a huge Porsche fan. We've got Porsches, so I'm always a little bit biased. But
You
boy,
lay the bias out on the table, Andrea.
Yeah.
Own the bias, embrace the bias, just say the P word.
Porsche. My thing is that AMG model that you're talking about, the GLC, really is terrific and sporty. And if you're comparing it to the base model Macan, I like a dynamic drive, so I would probably say go for the GLC. But you're looking for smoothness and comfort, so it's a little bit
I'm going to
different.
throw it out there. I'm going to say, listen, just get the X340i with the inline six-cylinder. That's the one you want, friend.
Fabulous.
Get that one. That's a great car.
Love the channel. Thank you. Will Acura incorporate Honda's hybrid tech into their lineup? Seems like it's a logical choice rather than straight to a full EV.
Well, you would think that, wouldn't you? With all the success of hybrids, you would think that, but that's really not what they're doing.
That's not what they're doing. They're going straight to EVs. There are no plans to do hybrids or plug-in hybrids at this time. I am hoping Acura will change their mind.
I think it's all subject to change.
Always
if they
subject
see
to
like
change.
how poorly the ZDX or the ZDX electric SUV is selling, and then they see how popular the CR-V hybrid is, and the Civic hybrid and the Accord hybrid to a lesser extent. But those hybrids, the CR-V hybrid has been a smash hit for them, and they should do the same thing with the RDX.
And could you imagine an MDX with the hybrid system?
They used to have it.
An RDX with the hybrid system, the new ADX. I would love it if they did it.
A lot of people aren't aware that Honda actually had hybrids in the Acura line. They used to have the big RL sedan. The same basic technology they used in the NSX supercar was based on that. They configured it differently, of course. But yeah, they have the technology to do it. So I think they should go back and visit the performance hybrid they had in the MDX and tune it not so much for performance, but more for efficiency. They might have a winner on their hands.
Interestingly enough, if they just waited a few years, the MDX hybrid would have been a big hit.
Pointing at the clock, Andrea. The clock says One more question. I'll give you one more. Okay. Not that I'm really in charge. We all know who's in charge.
Love your channel. Would you choose the RAV4 gas model or the Mazda CX-50? Well, both totally different. If I'm going for driving dynamics, CX-50 hands down.
If you're going for seat comfort, you're going for a RAV4 hands down.
Yeah.
If you're going for a quiet cabin, you're not going for the RAV4. The RAV4 gas model, she's a loud one. She makes a lot of noise.
She's loud. We talked to Toyota about that.
And the thing is, I think
up?
the number one reason they sell so many hybrids is people drive the gas and then the hybrid, and they're, oh, I'll take the hybrid. It's so much nicer. I don't know.
Hybrid's fantastic.
Yeah, the only problem with the CX-50 is the seats are kind of hard. And we're going to an event this week on Friday. Actually, the day this drops. We'll actually, when this video drops, we'll be out driving the car.
Yeah.
The CX-50, and we're going to see if the seats are any different.
So stay tuned for that. Anyway, thanks for watching. And if you want to get a question in, follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out on Instagram asking for questions. Once we gather our questions, the post is deleted and we start the show.
So we'll see you then.
Troublemaker over
Bye-bye.
here.
See ya.
Bye.